Hi guys, welcome back to Rebuilding Fulham. Now then, in the last episode we left things just after our massive win away at Liverpool, in which we managed to win our third successive league game, and that was tough considering we actually had to play Spurs and Liverpool in that run. Liverpool, of course, are having a pretty piss poor season, in fact terrible, and we did not help them in any way by beating them at home, but Spurs, they were doing relatively well at the time, and we still managed to beat them. Now, before we get into these fixtures, just a couple of notes I'd like to bring up. We basically decided to hold ourselves a trial day. I was messing with the board and just trying to see what I could request, basically. Sometimes I just go in and see what else I can try and get. I thought about trying a trial day. Now, I've never tried this at a big club before. Then again, rarely do I ever manage at big clubs on Football Manager. I like to do the small team stuff. Fulham's like the biggest team I've managed on Football Manager since I started playing the game a couple of years ago, so just bear that in mind. I tried it out, and we were offered a few players. Now, the one that we signed up, this is very, very strange. Where is? Here he is, Kenneth McAvoy, or as I like to call him, Gareth Bale. What is this madness? I genuinely thought there was a mishap with my face pack when I saw this. No, that is actually Kenneth McAvoy. He's Irish. He's Gareth Bale. He looks exactly like Gareth Bale in that one picture. I looked him up on Google Images, and in fact, he is a real player, obviously, because he's got a picture. Was released by Spurs, but he does look a hell of a lot like Gareth Bale, like worryingly like Gareth Bale. If he's half as good as Gareth Bale, then I'll be very, very happy. We signed him up anyway, not because he looks like Gareth Bale, because he actually was the best player at the trial day, and he's got decent potential ability. So I figured, why not give him a contract? Cost us a little bit in wages, but not a huge amount. And if it doesn't work out, then we'll just have to release him at the end of the run. But yeah, I just felt the need to note that. There's one other thing I want to talk about, which just really annoys me about this game, but we'll talk about that after I've shown you the fixtures for this month. Now back we go. We started off against Palace, and this was the game that we literally played just after the episode I shot last time. And, well, as you can see here, we scored all the goals. Every single last one of them in this game. It was a pretty resounding performance. We managed to beat Palace at Selhurst Park just barely. They outplayed us, but we managed to win 1-0 on that day. This was not that day. We absolutely thumped them. And I think we maybe even could have got more goals, but it was nice to actually see us not just run into a 3-goal lead and then concede and end up winning 3-2 or some crap like that, because that is very annoying. Although I felt we could have done a lot better. We actually got ourselves into a 4-goal advantage within 46 minutes in this game, and if it wasn't for that late Effie Ambrose own goal, we'd have had a nice 4-0 win. But Kieran Trippier got himself on the score sheet, which is good to see. Odegaard got himself yet another goal. Ambrose got himself another goal. Ambrose has scored 3 goals for us this season, all of which are basically the same goal, with a mishit shot to the back post off of a set piece, and he's just there to head it in. Not complaining, it's working. Who cares? McDonald Mariga as well, stepping up with another goal. He's been good lately. He got one against Liverpool as well, and I think he may have even got one in the game before against Spurs. No, he didn't. But he did get one against Liverpool. And no, okay, he's got 2 in 2, and that for me is good, especially for a centre midfielder. Now, we then went to Hull, and this was very, very annoying. I thought we played alright in this game. On the balance of things, it looks like we've actually had more chances. And we missed a penalty in this one as well. And yes, we all got himself sent off. Now, the thing about that sending off is that it was he deserved it. Like, it was he scissor tackled someone from behind. He is going to get, in fact, I think he's already been given a 3-match ban because it's a straight red card. In fact, I think he may even, yes, no, he has, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Yulsgaard was actually given a 5-match ban for that, which means he's going to miss all of these games and will be back available for the Man United game, which is very annoying because, well, at the time, it was very annoying because I figured we're going to need him to play in these games against Burnley, Sunderland, Southampton and Aston Villa, the winnable ones that we've got to try and cement ourselves, because we needed to basically get ourselves where we needed to be before the last 3 games of the season, away at Chelsea, at home to Man United and at home to Arsenal. Those games are not games you're going to get points from, so for the love of God, get yourself in a good position before those games. Now, against Burnley, we actually conceded first in this one. I am going to show highlights of some games in this episode, potentially. It's just because there's so many goals, I don't want it to drag on for too long, because we do have quite a few games to go through, so I might just pick one game to talk about with the highlights as such. But Burnley actually scored first in this one through Dwight Gale, and I thought, oh god, here we go again. No, we absolutely dominated, but it did take until just before half-time for McDonald Mariga. There he is again. Right, that's where I was getting that from. He popped up with yet another goal. He does like smacking tap-ins in from 2 yards, but I couldn't give a shit. He's brilliant, and I really like him as a player. And I think he's going to need a new contract soon, so I'm hoping we can move some money around and make sure that happens. Though I don't think that's going to be a problem, because we are letting Rodallega and Ruiz go at the end of the season. Very soon after that, Mitroglou stepped up and put us in front, and then I was pretty comfortable. Didn't take long, though, for Emil Larsson to step up and grab us another one. And then another one. And then Draga. And then Barnes. We were 5-1 up in this game so quickly. That second half was mental. I really wish we hadn't have conceded that one to Barnes, because Burnley basically had 2 chances and they put them both away. But we were brilliant. And we really do seem to have goals in us now. And I know the last episode was entitled Goals, Goals, Goals. But frankly, I should have saved that one. This one has probably been even better. Look at the form we've been in. Moving along, we travelled to Sunderland, and this one I genuinely thought, right, if there's a game we're going to screw up here, we've already screwed up away from home at Hull. Sometimes our away from home form hasn't been particularly great, so I was kind of thinking, well, we need to pick up points from the home. I said 12 points from those 4 games, optimistically. And as you can see, we actually get 15 points from those 6 games, rather, which was absurd and brilliant at the same time. Now, away at Sunderland, this game was completely... I did not see this result coming, because we scored the first goal in this one in first half stoppage time. It only says 45 minutes here, but I'm pretty certain it was first half stoppage time. Odegaard popped up, and then right after the break, Draga put us 2 goals up from a penalty. Now, I don't think at any stage this season we've thrown away a 2-goal lead. So for that to happen, well, it wasn't going to happen, was it? Because 6 minutes after that, Emil Larsson stepping up again, and then Kieran Trippier stepping up again. We're getting a regular little batch of scorers here, and Mitroglou, interestingly, is not one of them, but he is linking the play really well. Although in this game he was a bit non-existent. I think he may have had to come off, I'm not entirely sure, but I wasn't particularly pleased with his performance in that. He's probably not doing enough in that role, but he is getting plenty of assists, so I'm not too fussed, and he is netting the odd goal and keeping up with Draga, thank God. I was kind of hoping that Draga wouldn't be the top scorer this season. I wanted him to score lots of goals, but I kind of hoped that no matter how many he scored, Mitroglou's quality would shine through and he would outscore him. Unfortunately, that has not been happening. It's kind of been flipping back and forward. Draga's out of form, Mitroglou's out of form. It kind of just varies. Next, we were at home to Southampton, and this was a real battle, because I needed to make sure we got the win here, because this moved us clear enough of them, I think, to avoid them coming back against us, although maybe not quite. It gave them a real tough run in to try and overtake us after that. Now, I think, we'll go ahead and we'll show the highlights of this one, because we were great. We got revenge, because against Southampton in the league earlier this year, if you recall, Shane Long scored 2 goals against us, one of which went in off his damn face. And the luck just wasn't with us on that day. However, today, our luck was not needed, because we managed to beat them fair and square. There was no silly bollocks. We just won the game. And that's key. Absolute. There we go. Yeah, basically, Southampton were their own worst enemy in here. They kind of did exactly what they did to us, in the sense that they played the same poor defensive tactics that kind of we were end up being guilty of when we played at St Mary's earlier in the season. Trippier here gets the ball on the edge of the area, manages to just flick it through her, and Larsson, I don't know how he got that in the near post, but once again, he did, and Larsson has been in a great scoring form lately, which is good for us. And after half an hour, it just gave us a good lead, and I thought, right, let's hope we can hang on, because Southampton weren't playing too bad. But after that, it just seems that when they tried to come out and attack us, they weren't able to do it, and it meant that we could just keep the ball in this area here. Mitroglou dropping very, very far back, which might have been part of the problem. He did have to keep dropping deep. Trippier again here, the hero. Ball across, Scott Parker, 65 minutes, and I thought at that point, 65 minutes in, 2 goals up against Southampton, they've not really created a lot. We're going to win this game, because once we get 2 goals up, we very rarely concede. We very rarely squander that. And in fact, things got a little bit better, and our goal difference has really started to take a turn for the better. It's been negative most of the season, but never too much. It was always sort of just hovering below 0. Now it's really starting to fly. Trippier's ball in, Metroglu drops it down, and a lovely bit of awareness from him. Instead of to shoot, just to square it across to Kacaniklic to pop into an empty net. That's the kind of thing we need to see more of. That kind of awareness from him, and that's the reason he's got the amount of assists that he has. Next up, we went away to Aston Villa and somehow managed to get yet another win. This was a smash and grab, if ever I've seen one. I thought they were actually the better side in this game. It looks like we've had more shots, but from watching the game and managing the game, we were not that great in this one. We got the goal. They had a lot of good chances. The moment Kacaniklic scored, though, I shoved us, just parked the bus, and we managed to get away with it, although there was a couple of highlights in stoppage time that worried the crap out of me, but they managed to put them all wide. And we managed to get away with yet another win. Now, look at this. That's all league form. We've won 8 games out of our last 9 league games. That Hull result away from home is the only defeat in there. In fact, it's the only game we haven't won. I really wish we'd won that game. What a run that would be. Now, let's show you where this puts us in the league at the moment. This puts us into 8th place. Now, of course, we've got Man United, Chelsea and Arsenal, or Chelsea, Man United and Arsenal in our last 3 games. So it's really, that's about as far as we're going to be. So let's just see how far we can actually drop down. Still, we could drop down all the way down to 13th. I don't think we will, because some of these teams are bound to slip up and drop points in their final 3 games. So I think our final position is probably going to be maybe, I think we could possibly get 10th or 11th. Depends. We really will have to see how things go. Liverpool have kind of moved themselves away from the relegation zone a little bit. Only 4 points still, but they have sort of managed to sort of suck themselves up after losing a couple. They lost another game, I think, directly after we beat them, and then they were really down there. In fact, they slipped really far, and then they've managed to sort of start hauling themselves up. I don't know if Joachim Low is still the manager at Liverpool or not. Yeah, he is, and I can't believe he's still there, to be honest. But he is. I mean, I guess he's working with someone else's mess, but Jesus, they've come close to going down. We now have a +9 goal difference, which is great to see. Now, the thing I wanted to talk about is the Manager of the Month award. Let's just head back into the inbox. Right, this annoyed the crap out of me. Manager of the Month. Why did Pellegrini win Manager of the Month when both me and Bielsa got the same amount of points as him? Is it because his team are top of the league? But then surely that means it's more of an achievement for a team like mine to actually win 4 games to win all 4 games we played this month. We've won 8 of our last 9 league games. And that, I guess, was the sort of thing that it just bugs me. Little things like that. You'd think the credit would go to a manager that's at a much smaller club who are overachieving to a manager of a club who's doing exactly what he was supposed to be doing in the first place. If he hadn't have won those 4 games, it probably would have been a bit of a shock. Who were they against? So, okay, they beat Man United, but that was at Eastlands. Beat Burnley, Villa and Sunderland. So, games we also won, but we beat Southampton and they didn't. I don't know, it's a little bit irritating. I don't like that. I felt that I was probably deserving of Manager of the Month, but that might just be me. I'd like to try and win awards like that, it's useful. Right, let's take a look at the stats, since we do have quite a bit more to look at in terms of stats now. Right, let's go on to overall. I assume that bit's come back on. Yep. Right. Most appearances for us, still Kieran Trippier, but not by much. Metroglu is only behind him because of that one substitute appearance. Now, top goal scorer is Draga and Metroglu with 7 each. And they also tie for top assists now with 9 each. They are locked in a duel for player of the season. Man of the match, though, Draga does slightly just take the biscuit on that one a little bit with 6 so far. Top pass rating, well, that's no big surprise. Scott Parker, 84. It's actually gone up again. And McDonald Mariga, though Lucci's got a decent pass rating when he has played. Most yellow cards, 14 for Scott Parker. Unfortunately, it's the 3 red cards that Jesper Julsgaard has managed to get that have really annoyed me, because that last one has cost us, well, it hasn't cost us dear, but we're still going to be missing him for the next, I think it's just the next game, which is against Chelsea away. Not all we need right now. We could really do with him playing, because I'm pretty certain that we've been playing Sean Kavanagh in his place, and he is not ready for first team football just yet. That is one area that I'm going to have to look to strengthen in the summer. Another fullback, because at the moment, if Trippier goes out, we've got Hoogland that can kind of fill in, but if Julsgaard's out, we have to play Kacaniklic in there. But we've had injuries in other positions, so Kacaniklic just had to play in his actual position, and that meant that Sean Kavanagh had to play. Average rating overall? Well, Thomas Drager. He's now started to pull out a bit of a lead over Scott Parker now. I'm certain he's going to win Player of the Year. There's almost no denying that. Right then, let's just take a little look. Now, the next episode is going to be pretty damn short because it's just going to be the last 3 games of the season. So I'll probably show you highlights of all 3 of those in that episode. Because why not? There's 3 games. Although, if we are going to lose all 3 of them, maybe it's not quite quite a good idea, really, because there's not going to be anything worth noting in it, since we're probably going to lose all 3. But we've got our games won, and we've probably earned ourselves a decent finish in the league, and it's going to exceed the board's expectations, or at least equal them. And that's the most important thing for me. I mean, if we could pull off a miracle, then wonderful, but I think the tactic is really starting to gel now. In fact, I think, yeah, it's completely fluid in all areas. We've got a decent team. We've got the one area that I think we could do with improving is our bench. We need slightly better backups, because when we do lose players, we have to bring in poorer quality players. Like, we've got Jordan Evans playing here. Him and Kavanagh have basically been swapping around, and I think Evans played the last game, but that's about it. We need to have Yulsgaard back, or at least someone that can play in that position. But we'll find out more about that in the next episode. So, if you like what you've seen, hit the like button. If you like it even more than that, hit the subscribe button. And until next time, bye-bye.